All right, let me ask you something real quick. Have you ever realized way too late that you weren't actually part of your family? Like, yeah, you lived in the same house, ate at the same table, showed up when they needed you, but deep down, you were just useful, not loved, not appreciated, just available. Because that's the kind of thing nobody warns you about. No one tells you that sometimes the people who say, "we're family," are really saying, "we'll take everything you have and still make you feel like it's not enough." So if you've ever felt like the backup plan in your own home, this story, yeah, it might hit a little different. And before we get into it, real quick, if stories like this feel a little too real, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. Not for me, for you. Because sometimes hearing the truth out loud is the first step to actually changing something. All right, let's get into it. My name is Marcus Reed. I'm 28 years old, and for most of my life, I thought being a good son meant saying yes. Yes to helping, yes to sacrificing, yes to fixing problems that weren't mine. And for a long time, that felt normal, until the day I realized I wasn't their son. I was their solution. And the worst part, I didn't even notice when it started. It wasn't some big dramatic moment. No one sat me down and said, "Hey, from now on, you're responsible for everything." Nah, it was smaller than that, sneakier. It started right after my dad passed. I was 22, fresh out of college, still trying to figure life out, still trying to figure myself out. And just like that, everything shifted. My mom started calling me more. At first, it made sense. She was grieving. We all were. She'd call late at night, crying, saying things like, "You're the man of the house now." And I believed her. Of course I did. I wanted to help. I wanted to step up. I wanted to be needed. That's where it starts, by the way. Not with manipulation, with love, or at least what you think is love. First, it was small things. "Can you help with the electric bill this month? Just until I get back on my feet." Then it was groceries. Then it was my younger brother's school fees. Then it was rent. And every time, same line. Just this once. But just this once turned into every month, and every month turned into years. Meanwhile, my brother Tyler, yeah, he was living his best life. New sneakers every other week, upgrading his car, posting vacation pics like he had money growing on trees. And my mom, she never asked him for a dime, not once, because in her mind, Tyler was still figuring things out. But me, I was responsible. Funny how that works, right? Responsible really just means the one we can rely on to carry everything. I moved to Chicago at 24, got a decent job in tech support, nothing crazy, but stable, enough to finally breathe a little. Except I never really got to breathe, because every time I got ahead, something would come up. Car repairs, medical bills, emergency expenses that somehow always landed on me, and I paid every single time. You know why? Because I kept telling myself, this is temporary. They'll get back on their feet. They appreciate it. Yeah, I was wrong. Dead wrong. The moment everything changed wasn't loud, wasn't dramatic. It was actually kind of quiet. It was a random Sunday. I was at home, doing laundry, half watching Netflix. My phone buzzed. Message from my mom. "Hey honey, can you send $2,000? It's urgent." No explanation, no "how are you?" just a number. I stared at the message for a solid minute. Then I replied, "What's it for?" She responded instantly. "Just trust me. I need it." That should have been my first clue, but I sent it anyway, because that's what I always did. A week later, I found out where that money went, not from her, from Instagram. Tyler had posted a story. Him, on a beach, in Miami, champagne in hand. Caption said, "We outside." Yeah, they were outside, living life while I was inside, funding it. That's when something shifted. Not anger, not yet. Something colder, clearer. I opened my banking app, then my statements, and for the first time, I actually looked, like really looked, month after month, transfer after transfer, hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands. I grabbed a notebook and started writing everything down. Rent, bills, random emergencies. By the time I finished, my hands were shaking. $98,000. $98,000. And I was still living paycheck to paycheck. I leaned back in my chair and just stared at the ceiling, because suddenly everything made sense. The stress, the exhaustion, the feeling that no matter how hard I worked, I was stuck. I wasn't stuck. I was being drained. And the craziest part, they never once said thank you. Not once. That night, I didn't sleep. I just kept thinking, replaying every moment, every excuse, every time I ignored my gut. And around 3 a.m., I made a decision. Not an emotional one, a logical one. I was done. But here's the thing about being the reliable one. You don't just walk away, because they don't see you leaving as growth. They see it as betrayal. And that's exactly what happened. The next morning, my mom called. Her voice was sweet, too sweet. "Hey, baby, did you get my message? I might need a little more for—" "I'm not sending any more money." Silence, like real silence. Then she laughed. Not a happy laugh, the kind people do when they think you're joking. "Marcus, stop playing." "I'm not playing." Her tone changed instantly. "What do you mean you're not sending it?" "I mean I'm done." Another pause, longer this time. Then came the guilt. "After everything I've done for you?" There it was, the classic line. I almost smiled, because for the first time, it didn't work. "I've sent you almost $100,000, Mom." Dead quiet. "You'll figure it out." And I hung up. My hands were shaking. Not gonna lie, that wasn't easy, but it felt right. For the first time in years, it felt like I chose myself. But I had no idea that was just the beginning, because 2 days later, there was a knock on my door. 2 days later, there was a knock on my door. Not soft, firm. A man in a suit stood there. "Marcus Reed, I'm here about a financial matter involving your family." My stomach dropped. He showed me documents, loans under my mom's name, total $186,000. Then I saw it. I was listed as a guarantor. "I never signed this," I said. He leaned in and quietly said, "These signatures don't match. Someone may have signed for you." Silence. My own mother. Just like that, everything changed. "If you prove this isn't yours," he said, "it becomes fraud." That night, my phone blew up. I answered one call, my mom. "What did you do?" she yelled. "You put my name on those papers," I said. Silence. Then she snapped, "You didn't give us enough." That was it. The truth. Nothing I gave would ever be enough. "I'm protecting myself," I said, and hung up. I filed the case. Not out of anger, out of survival. Months later, the truth came out. The debt? Not mine. Signatures? Fake. My mom lost everything. Her credit, her reputation, her trust. My brother disappeared the moment the money stopped. And me? For the first time in years, I had peace. Because sometimes, the strongest thing you can do isn't holding on, it's finally letting go.